Hey,
Hi.
welcome.
Welcome to the What Did You Think podcast, episode
16?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
my pants are soaked.
yeah. I mean, we're not going to give any context to that. I think we just leave it how it is. This episode's going to be different than normal. Because we're going straight in. I mean, obviously, like, we're going to say hi and stuff, but in terms of spoilers, this is a spoiler review. There's no spoiler free section. Not that it really matters considering what movie it is, but if for some reason this matters to you, go ahead and leave whenever you want. Maybe stay for like a couple minutes just so you don't get like the immediate, leaving or whatever, but like this is a spoiler review. That being said, what's going on?
Absolutely a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
So the SAG Awards were
Mhm.
not too long ago. They're only a few days ago. And this is following, of course, the BAFTAs. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, these are all of these award shows. So there's like Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, PGA, a whole bunch of just different stuff. And
Mhm.
the BAFTAs and the SAGs are the closest representation of what will go home with Oscars. For the Oscars. And typically they all have at least a 2 out of 4 acting nomination slash winner like match. That is until, of course, this year. The last time there's been no matching winners was in 1998. So let me catch you up on the BAFTAs, okay? So the BAFTAs is the winning of the lead actor was Austin Butler. That is, we said this in our Oscar episode. This race is down to Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler. I don't see
Mhm.
anybody else winning this. Austin Butler won the BAFTA. Looks really good for him to win the Oscar. If he gets the SAG, it's pretty much over. All right. Barry Keoghan, or Keoghan, I'm sorry, don't know how to pronounce his name, ended up winning the Best Supporting Actor for the BAFTA, which is odd. Kei Kwan
Has been sweeping.
oh, has been sweeping. And so it was odd to see Kay lose,
Yeah.
whatever. That was a fluke in the system. The Oscar expert on Twitter perfectly said that it's not canon, which I agree with him. So that loss is not canon. And then we had Kate Blanchett, which is pretty clear. Like she is destroying the competition right now. She won that award. And there was supporting actress, which was Kerry Condon, which Cameron and I have said she deserves to win this. She
Right.
is phenomenal in Banshees and finally gets some recognition. So there we go. And of course, the SAG Awards, like I said, were a few days ago. So we were expecting to see some similarities, and no, there wasn't any. Brendan Fraser took away the best actor. He took that home. So it's really just down to the wire. It's going to be whichever the Academy likes more.
Right.
Uh, but that's crazy. We had Jamie Lee Curtis win Best Supporting Actress.
Which I still don't understand.
Listen, Stephanie Hsu should have won it if we're going to
Right.
be real.
Right.
Over if it was going to be an Everything Everywhere person, it should have been Stephanie Hsu. Um, but her chances I think are dead now. Uh, and I would honestly say Angela Bassett's shot at winning is gone. I
I
don't think she
think
has a shot.
now, coming from someone who doesn't really follow the other awards other than the Oscars, I understand that the correlations are there. I think more and more, though, those correlations are becoming less important. And I think Stephanie Hsu still can take this.
I don't think Stephanie Hsu has a shot. And I don't think Angela Bassett has a shot. I think we're gonna end up seeing a Kerry Condon win, which
I
came out
wouldn't
of
be
left
upset with.
field.
I would not
I
be
would
upset with
not be
that.
upset
Yeah.
at all. Uh, but I think Kerry Condon has the shot on winning this. Um, and Michelle Yeoh won the SAG for Best Actress in a Leading Role, which is crazy because Kate Blanchett's destroying the competition, and then we have Michelle Yeoh. She wins the Golden Globe, and now she wins the SAG, and which makes this seem like this race between Kate and Michelle is a lot closer than a lot of people think it is.
Mhm.
You have to think, so these are actors that voted for these awards, okay? And typically actors also take up a majority of the voting. Just because there's more actors than there are, like VFX artists. You know what I mean? That type of stuff,
Sure.
or just like filmmakers in general. Uh, so, and speaking of everything everywhere, Kei Kwan wins the, but no, so the Everything Everywhere sweeps. They won Best Ensemble, which is their equivalent to like the Best Picture award. Um, and it is kind of nuts to see that. I would say after seeing how well they performed here, I think it's kind of clear that Everything Everywhere is going to win Best Picture. I think that's pretty obvious. I think what I'm more intrigued by is the acting and the actress race than I
Yeah.
am Best Picture. Um, but yeah, so that's the little movie news for you guys to get you caught up here. But if I had to final predict those, K wins, Kei Kwan wins. I'm gonna stick with Kate Blanchett. I'm gonna say Kerry Condon wins. I'm gonna say Brendan Fraser wins. I think those are gonna be the acting wins. I'd be shocked if I saw anything else.
And if he's wrong, he will pay everybody who subscribes to this video $1,000.
Absolutely not. So yeah,
This close.
he could edit that. He could edit out the not, and it'd just be me
I
saying
could,
absolutely.
but I won't.
Yeah.
Uh, Speaking of absolutely wild thing going on. The movie we're talking about today, I don't think we need any fancy like segue or anything like that because there's no like this is a wholly unnatural movie. This movie is it the fact that it exists, I still am trying to wrap my mind around. This feels like a SNL trailer and that of a movie that everyone would be like, "Oh, that would be a great movie," but then it never gets made. But Cocaine Bear is the movie for this week. It all went by so fast. For those who weren't around at the time, or for those who weren't paying attention, one day the poster for this movie comes up, like gets released, and people are like, "Whoa, that's crazy! I can't believe like that can't be right, right?" And then a trailer comes out a couple days later, and people are like, "Wow, this is actually happening." And now the movie's out, and man, oh man, is it a movie?
It
Um,
is a movie.
Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks, starring Keri Russell, Alden Ehrenreich, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Ray Liotta. It is, among others. Uh, it's a ride. It's a thing. And like
So
we said at the start, we're gonna just go full spoilers this time. Um,
yeah,
so Ben, what did you think about Cocaine Bear?
I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought it looked stupid, and I was not ready for it. I had to practically be dragged to opening weekend for this movie
Mm-hmm.
because Cameron was overhyping this movie like crazy, which is a big reason why I didn't want to see it because I'm like, there's no way you think this is going to be good. This is going to be terrible. And I don't know if Cameron is more excited for the free gummy bears or the movie itself.
Our theater
And
did give out free gummy bears opening weekend, which I
and
did take advantage of.
I did too. I did too. Um and I was dreading going to this movie. It looks so stupid. Uh, and I was pleasantly surprised. I had a fantastic time at the theater. I was laughing a lot. I was really, really, really into it. Well, I will say, the first like 15 minutes or so, like they're setting up
Yeah,
a bunch of characters and stories that
right,
I don't care about. I came to watch a bear on cocaine kill a
right.
bunch of people. And I will say, give credit to where credit's due. they did give every character a story in this movie.
Hmm.
Not every character needed a story at all, but
No.
they had stories and they gave it to them.
Yeah.
I think the film's biggest struggle is just like balancing uh their momentum. It's like
Hmm.
pacing is very off in this movie. But if I had a bear every single scene, I was in for it. I enjoyed it. Uh, and I will say for a bear, they had very creative kills
Yeah.
for this movie. Similar to like Violent Night, where instead of Santa just like shooting people all the time, because with John Wick, his kills can be very repetitive because they
Especially
are.
like the early one, the first one.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
killing like 50 people out of, per second, and it's all with bullets. As the films go on, though, we see him more, and it gets more and more fun with like his experimental kills. I think with this, it is a lot of fun to see how many ways a bear can kill somebody. But
Right.
yeah, Cameron, what did you think?
So here's the deal. I was so excited for this movie because I feel like I have some kind of sixth sense, and that I can tell. And I've been wrong before, but it's very infrequent. Just early footage coming out, like the first trailer and the poster, I can tell if a movie will take advantage of its premise or not. So, for example, I feel like Ben thought this was going to be in the same vein of like a Happy Time Murders, where in theory the premise could be good, but in execution it is so poorly done that it's bad. Am I right when I say that? You were thinking this was going to be a wasted potential kind of thing?
N- Well, not even wasted potential. I don't care if a bear's on cocaine or not. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
It
Sure.
looked
But
it looked dumb. It looked dumb.
here's my thing though. It is very I can tell when a movie knows it's dumb and goes with it, like this movie, because this movie is dumb, but it's the good kind of dumb, and that's like what makes it work. If you're willing to go all out with, if the trailer came out and it was like Cocaine Bear rated PG-13, okay, scratch it off. It's not going to be good, right? But the R rating and the poster and the trailer showed me that they were willing to take this premise and actually go somewhere with it that would be enjoyable. Because when you hear Cocaine Bear, you're not expecting a story, you're not expecting, really anything other than this is going to be funny because a bear is going to be eating people and it's on cocaine, right? And if you take advantage of that premise, it works really well. And I think they took advantage of this premise. And like you're right, they do get really creative with it. And it would be so easy to do this premise poorly. And I still think there's room for improvement, but they managed to make it enjoyable to a point where I would say it's worth it going to see this.
Right. No, and I agree completely. I will not completely because I will say I don't think they took advantage of the R rating that well. I
Are you
think,
kidding?
hear me out. In the very beginning, we have this couple on a date, and several kills happen off screen, and it's just like kind of frustrating a little bit. It's like I want to see every single kill. But Violent Night, man, he's goring up people. There is gore
Right.
galore. And I will say, there's an ambulance scene where an ambulance is driving away and a bear books it and jumps into the ambulance. Easily the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
It is insane. And those kills made me ugh.
Right. Yeah.
The girl's face scraping against the
The
like
pavement.
asphalt
Yeah.
is insanely
The
painful to
the dude's
watch.
like wrist, like, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I'm surprised that that's a something you came away with, because I actually thought this movie was more violent than I was expecting it to be.
Really?
Yeah, it was way more violent than I was expecting it to be. And like, okay, so you say some kills are off screen. I think that was on purpose because you got to build up. Okay, the very first scene in the movie you can't show the bear going all out because you got to give the audience no reason to stick around. So you
Mm,
tease them with an early kill that doesn't show too much, and then as you go on, you get more and more and more. That's why one of the earliest gory kills, most of it's happening off screen. You're just seeing the blood drip, and that's like, oh, like this is stringing me along. then you get the gunshot, and then you get the ambulance scene, which is where it actually hits its peak. And that's
Well,
why a lot of people are disappointed with the finale.
there's also the issue with um the whole park ranger scene, not when she's in the ambulance, but when they're inside the building. There's the gunshot, which was unexpected and funny, but kind of bad CGI. It looked really fake. Uh, and then another kill that was off screen that we just see the bear just with dripping blood from his thing. And you mentioned it is the peak of the movie. It is the peak. We have this, and then it's followed by these two drug dealer people that we don't care about at all.
I was
Um,
interested in what was going on there.
I think you were interested because he used to play Han Solo.
Oh, I don't like the Solo movie. I don't. That's not why I mentioned. I was interested because I thought they were funny.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
the storyline
sure.
doesn't matter to me, but they fulfill a comedy aspect of the movie.
I found myself laughing a lot, especially when he shoots his two fingers. He shoots the
It
middle
leaves the
finger and the
middle.
pinky off,
Yeah.
but the ring finger is still attached. Uh, um, and then they have this dumb twist of this cop's
That was
like
completely okay. I think we need to back up. We need to kind of recap a little bit. So, first of all, Ben is right. The first like 20 minutes of the movie are so slow because it is setting up a bunch of different character storylines which we don't care about. And I think by the end of the movie, you kind of forget that it happened. But when you're sitting in it at the start, it is so slow. And
I was on meds too, so I was fighting to stay awake during this part.
right. And it I think it would work better that way if there were more characters than the ones that were fleshed out. Because I do think this movie lacks kills. I think it needs a little bit more. And so if they're fleshing out these characters and we're seeing the early parts of a bear rampage, that'd be better. And then over the course of the movie, we get the bear gets on cocaine, it starts killing people, and then the two main plots are this mom is looking for her lost daughter, and these drug runners are trying to find the cocaine and get it back.
For Han
And
Solo's dad.
Han Solo's dad. Um, so neither storyline really matters. They're just reasons for characters to walk from one bear attack to another. But there's random parts in the movie where I think the movie thinks we care more than we do, because obviously it's a cocaine thing, so there's like police involved and stuff. And there's a part where one of the police officers we're introduced to earlier in the movie gets revealed, uh-oh, she's also a drug dealer. And it's like they never even go anywhere with it. Like
Not at all. She literally has the quickest character arc I've ever seen, where she's actually evil, and then by the end of the movie, she's not evil anymore, and
mhm.
ends up giving a dog the guy's dead dog, not the guy's dead dog, the dead cop that like she helped kill. She gives his dog to one of the drug dealers.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah, it's just poor writing. I think that's where it comes into play. It's just like with these movies, it's we don't care necessarily about every single character. You know what I mean?
right.
We care about a handful of them. Like I didn't care about the kid at all, you know? Uh like or they were eating cocaine. It was I guess
That
that
was
was
funny.
funny.
That was funny. I mean, it's a comedy. You can't I
Right.
I'm not expecting every movie, every scene to be like story fulfilling or like meaningful or really any way other than if it made me laugh or not, which I do think this movie, when the bear is not involved, there are more misses than hits,
Hmm.
but I think it's enough to keep you going along. Um, and I will say this movie has a similar problem to the Transformers movies, which is the
They're
action is
like,
the action is really cool. And it's like, that's why you're there. I want to see robots punch each other in a city. And when it's happening, you get to just stare at it and be like, wow, you know. But
uh-huh.
then there's like an hour and a half of military people, or in this case, just other people walking around doing their thing, and the Transformers aren't involved, or the cocaine bear isn't involved, and we're just not interested. And it's so interesting not in like an interesting way, but in like I want to know why these choices are made kind of way. This movie, Godzilla 2014, and all the Transformers movies, they have their interesting aspect, and then they devote so much time to literally anything else, and it doesn't make sense to me why that keeps happening.
I think there's, well, okay, with monster movies, it's different because with Alien, the alien's like hardly ever on screen. All right. I'm talking about Ridley Scott's.
Mhm.
The reason Alien works so well, it's the fear of the unknown.
Right.
And uh Godzilla could be a lot better if like, first of all they focus. So if you're going to show the monster better be in the movie every single scene. But the reason have you seen Cloverfield?
I love Cloverfield. I
So do
love it.
I. And how often do they show the Cloverfield monster?
They don't, but the fact they're not showing it is the point.
Exactly. And it's like, if you're going to make a good monster movie, you either A, have the monster in it literally every single scene, all right? Because that's all we care about, or B, don't show us the monster at all. And it's that fear of the unknown. It's the intensity that we don't know what this thing looks like, all right? And I know I compare this thing to Violent Night a lot, and I'm going to continue doing that.
They're very
The
similar.
scenes without Santa Claus works because they don't go too hard with the story. They know what we're here to see, and the story that they do give us is very basic but very like enjoyable still, because you give us good characters that like, the stupid movie star guy.
Right.
And of course we don't really care about how much money's in the vault or why these people are trying to steal this stuff. Okay, I get that, but you have such a simple and easy to follow along story that makes it easier for you to transition to the scenes of Santa Claus and killing these people. But with the reason Cocaine Bear has its issues is because there's so many different stories and so many different characters and plots that you're trying to follow that literally this bear is superhuman. It is going back and forth from every plot point ever. And
Right.
it is it's exhausting to watch sometimes. So, but yeah, I don't know why I went on that tangent, but
Well, we were talking about why movies sometimes don't show a monster.
oh right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Cocaine Bear isn't the movie, the kind of movie to fear the unknown. Cocaine Bear is the poster.
Mhm.
It's like you known what's going on, so there's no fear. And this isn't even a horror movie. Like it's a comedy through and through. It's like
Mhm.
I'm sure it could be technically called a slasher, but it's just a comedy. And I if you're not gonna make me laugh and you're not gonna show me a bear ripping people apart, I'm not really gonna care.
Yeah.
And that is it's not impossible to make a movie like this where you care for the characters. It's just this isn't it. This
Yeah.
isn't it at all.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I still had a lot more enjoyment out of it than I thought I was. I wasn't expecting much. I mean, I will say the ending was frustrating. Uh, I
Yeah,
don't think the ending works at
the
all.
ending doesn't work.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead, explain more.
well, I don't want to keep cutting you off, but I'll kind of set up your discussion of the ending, which is that when we say the movie peaks at the ambulance scene, it that is like by far that's what you sign up for when you sign up for a Cocaine Bear movie. Literally, people. And by the way, I watched Carson Runquist's video on this, and he's right. The reason that scene works so well is because we don't spend a lot of time learning about the ambulance people. It's just they're people who show up, have a specific purpose, and that is to get eaten by the bear, and they fulfill that purpose. And good job. That's the best scene of the movie. So that level of intensity, the interesting violence going on there, and there's a lot of comedy going on in that scene. It all comes together in like a great like this is how you pitch a Cocaine Bear movie, and then everything that comes after it fails to meet those expectations, especially for finale.
Right now, um, I'm happy Elizabeth Banks did make this. Uh, I know her from one other movie I've seen from
Yeah,
hers, and that's movie 43. And
that's not a fair way to. There's so
I
many
just
great people in that movie. You can't really blame anyone in that movie for being in that movie. If you
just
know about how that movie was made, no one in that movie can be blamed for being in that movie.
she's one of the 12 directors in it, and therefore they have a special place in my heart, and it's not in my heart at all. Okay.
That is not
No,
fair. I'm going to
listen,
defend her on this.
I understand it's not fair, but it is okay. because
No, dude.
I that is the reason I have my mental health issues is because of watching movie 43. My doc That's not prescribed. My doctor says it's not. But I think
Yeah.
it is
Let
because I was fine when I watched it.
listen, I will stand on this hill and I will die for these people. All right. Listen, if you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, commenters, but as far as I'm aware, the way movie 43 got made is some producer had a lot of IOUs from a lot of famous people in the industry. They like a lot of like either unresolved contracts or unresolved promises of all these famous people. And they're like, yeah, I'll be in something you make someday. And then this guy took advantage of that and got the most star-studded cast known to man, and he made the worst movie you'll ever see. That's why you get Chris Pratt, you get Hugh Jackman, you get all these like top level people doing very bottom of the barrel work. It's none of
I
them want to be there. None of them enjoyed it. They were there out of sheer obligation.
We talk about movies that get us into film that make us want to join that industry. This is one of those few movies that make me not want to step anywhere close to this. Now, thankfully, this came at a time after I saw Jaws and 12 Angry Men. All right. But I can't think of a terrible world where I've seen this movie first. You know?
all, all,
I don't know.
all I'm saying is this isn't a fair thing to judge Elizabeth Banks by. You want to judge her
No,
fairly?
I was joking by that. I was joking by
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I've seen her
Because
acting more than I've seen her directing. I think this is actually the first thing I've seen of hers directing, but she did do Ocean's 8
she
and
did
Charlie's Angels, the new
Charlie's
one.
Angel. She did Pitch Perfect too. But I know her as Effie from the Hunger
Hunger
Games.
Games. Yeah.
So, is she? Speaking of which, is she going to be in the new one?
The new one's a prequel. I don't even know if she's alive
How
yet.
old was Effie in the?
I don't, well, the thing is, the this prequel is about like President Snow, and like he's really old. So if it's a prequel about him, then she might not even have been born yet. And I have the book, but I haven't read it, so I don't know if she's in it.
Well, I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I've got nothing else to really add here. You
Um.
know, it's a short movie. It's like an hour and a half, but and it stings that it's only an hour and a half, and the beginning is still really slow.
Right. So I think there's a few last things we can say to really tie this all together. Uh and I think that starts with one explaining what the finale is, which is just like all the storylines come together where the daughter is found in the cave in the same place the drug dealers find their drugs, and then there's like this whole standoff between the two groups and whatever. And no one cares what happens because everyone knows in a movie called Cocaine Bear, you're not you're not going to end with some random guy shooting some random girl. You're going to have the cocaine bear involved, and
Right,
obviously the good guys are going to win in the end because this isn't the kind of movie to have a twist ending that's like a commentary on the human spirit or whatever. Like
right.
this is just the kind of movie where you know what's going to happen. So what you're really holding out for is an interesting kill from the bear, and it's really not. It's the guy, he gets his stomach slashed open and then the cubs eat it, and like that's fine. But when you compare it, and I sound so demented saying this kind of stuff, but when you compare it to earlier kills, it's kind of nothing, and it doesn't really, it doesn't have that finale punch that it needs. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure. I've never had my stomach cut open, nor have I died before, so I really can't answer as
right.
to if that's worse or not. But I will say,
You have to keep in mind no one in the audience has died either, so that's who you're making your movie for.
I will say though, you are right. This is a very lame way. Like, I would have liked for the bear to like rip him in half or something like that, or eat him whole. You know, we didn't get the
Yeah,
bear eating anybody. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it could have definitely been better in several areas,
right.
but I'm still happy to live in a world where Cocaine Bear exists.
True. This is a movie that I think deserves the kill count treatment. James and Janice can't wait for the episode.
That's
But
I was yeah.
oh, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No.
Oh,
I agree with you.
yeah. So in that spirit, I think we need to kind of jump on this train a little bit. Do you have a favorite and least favorite kill from the movie? Or in cocaine terms, a golden bear claw and a dull bear shetty. There we go. Yeah.
My favorite kill is the woman that has her face completely sawed off by the road.
Yeah.
That is by far the best kill. And the worst kill is probably either the girl in the no, it's the guy. The guy that is the husband or whatever to the girl. His death is completely off screen. We don't even see any remains of his body.
We do in a flashback. We get
Oh,
a
we
minor
do?
flashback to where his face is ripped off, but it's so quick you kind of don't really realize what's going on.
Then
But
it's probably like either the guy, it's one of the off-screen deaths.
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
yeah. I think my favorite. Here's the deal. I would make the scrape thing, the face thing, my favorite if I didn't like physically recoil when it happened on screen. So I think my favorite might be the other ambulance guy, the guy with like the wrist.
With his wrist. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, it's rough.
Ooh. Yeah.
So yeah, uh summarizing my opinion, I'd say if you can get past the slow start and you're interested in a semi-funny uh bear kill fest, then that's really it's short enough to be worth it. The highs I think are worth it. But also you could get away with just watching the kill count whenever that comes out.
Or watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
Well,
you, Ben?
I just need to leave our viewers with a few wise words. Um, Cocaine is bad unless you give it to a bear. Then
Yeah,
it's funny.
you're
If you
right.
give your pets drugs, you are in for a treat.
Right. And that's true. That's true. That was the cocaine dog.
That was my cocaine dog.
Right. But I think we can end this out with the simple statement. Need a little less cocaine, a little more bear. But until next time, see you guys later.